The original plan for this video was to start off by dissecting every single little Arabian Nights reference that I could find in Secret Rings. Thing is, I knew Secret Rings was a loose adaptation of the original stories, I just didn't know how loose of an adaptation. We all know about the game having an entire world revolving around dinosaurs, even though dinosaurs weren't discovered until like 500 years later. Still, I did do research on everything I could, and there were a small handful of things that did kinda pique my interest, so I would like to go over a few of those things first, and then we'll get back to the typical neat things nonsense. All good? Boom, clap, let's get started with some of the things that the game took from the Arabian Nights. In the opening cutscene, Sonic finds a ring on his desk. Upon holding it, Shara pops out, stating she is the genie of the ring, the one from Aladdin and the magic lamp. Now you may think, I don't remember a genie of the ring last time I watched Disney's Aladdin. Well, yeah, you'd be correct in that. He was cut from the movie. In the original story, there were two genies, the genie of the ring and the genie of the lamp. The sorcerer, basically Jafar, gave Aladdin a ring to help him traverse through the magic cave. Once the sorcerer double-crosses Aladdin, our hero gets stuck inside the cave. He starts nervously rubbing his hands, and, of course, the ring was being worn at that time. So, the genie of the ring appears, and he is the one who helps Aladdin escape. It's a little different from the movie's approach, where the genie of the lamp is the one that helps Aladdin escape. Pretty much all of the rules about the genie of the ring are one-to-one in Secret Rings. Rub the ring to summon the genie. The ring genie can grant any amount of wishes as long as they're simple, and the ring genie's magic is less powerful than the lamp genie's magic. In Secret Rings, Shara is the genie of the ring, and Eraser Jin is the genie of the lamp, both being the same genies from Aladdin and the magic lamp. Although it should come as no surprise that both Shara and Eraser Jin themselves were made specifically for Secret Rings. Later in the story, when trying to find Sinbad, Alibaba says he's been taken away by a rook, which is a creature that looks like a giant flying manta ray in Secret Rings. That being said, Alibaba literally described it as a giant bird/living fossil, which is a much more accurate description for the original source material. In fact, the rooks from the Arabian Nights are massive birds of prey, appearing in a few stories like the second and fifth voyage of Sinbad the Seaman, get your mind out of the gutter. In the second voyage, Sinbad was stranded in a valley filled with rooks that feasted upon giant snakes. And in the fifth voyage, he and his shipmates sailed to a giant rook egg and ate the egg before it could hatch. Fun fact, if you do that, you'll be granted eternal youth. Not really sure why they would change its species in the game. Maybe it's one of those creative liberties? Or maybe it would have been easier to design Levitated Ruin like that. When Eraser Jin absorbs the 7 world rings, he transforms into a grotesque, incomplete monster, stating,
I am Auf Layla wa Layla. I am the Arabian Nights.
I'm sure we could use some context clues for that, but just in case you're as dense and inept as I am, in Arabic, the name for the Arabian Nights is Auf Layla wa Layla, which translates to 1001 Nights. King Solomon, the ancient king of Jerusalem, is referenced many... Wait, isn't Solomon also in the Old Testament? Doesn't that technically mean we have someone from the Bible in the Sonic universe? Anyway, King Solomon is referenced many times in the Arabian Nights, and surprisingly, he also has power over lesser genies. In one of the stories, the City of Brass, Solomon had imprisoned many genies in brass bottles. Fishermen would find said bottles, and upon opening them, the genies would pop out, shouting for forgiveness and repentance, specifically from Solomon, which can't really happen because he's been dead for a while. I don't know, I just think that's kind of neat, and I kinda wish that the game would have delved more into Solomon's powers, besides just saying, I am the great and powerful King Solomon. And lastly, this scene.
That door. What is it?
I have an idea. Watch this. Open Sesame! Oh, it didn't work.
I always thought this was Sonic trying to be funny. I mean, nowadays, that's a common phrase in pop culture to open a closed door. We all know the SpongeBob clip. Well, who knows the origin to that phrase? Ding ding ding, you guessed it, it's from the Arabian Nights. Specifically in the story, Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves. The thieves store all of their treasure in a cave. However, the entrance is sealed by a giant rock. It will only open when it hears the magic words, "Open Sesame." So Sonic wasn't telling a joke here. He was reading the Arabian Nights, and now that he's in the Arabian Nights, he legitimately thought it would have made the door open. I really wish I knew that sooner. Okie dokie, that was the last Arabian Nights detail that we are going over today. However, if anyone out there just so happens to be a nerd for the Arabian Nights and wants to make an extension of this, please do. I would love to see it. If you're feeling snazzy, why not pinpoint all of the King Arthur references in Black Knight 2? I think it'd be a ton of fun to learn about all of that stuff. Where was I? Oh right, the actually important stuff! Look at the Chapter 8 Movie 6 description. They misspelled 2 words in the same sentence. Everyone point and laugh! Now look at skill number 30. They misspelled gauge in the description. Everyone point and laugh again! Also, I have no idea how I noticed this next thing. The Rocket Boost skill and the Warp Boost skill both increase our acceleration rate. Rocket is worth 15 skill points, while Warp is worth 25 skill points. Now, watch what happens when we move down to the Rocket Boost. It now says that they both cost 15. Then if we move down to the Warp Boost, it still says it's 15, but it'll still be worth 25 when we activate it. And when we go up 2 spaces, it now says that they both cost 25 SP. Why does it work like that? While we're looking at the skill ring, I'm pretty sure we all know that just about every skill is categorized into 3 elements. Fire is mainly used for attacking, wind focuses on speed and movement, and darkness, which can do a lot of things, like giving XP when doing specific actions. Well, did you know, all of those elements appear on the box art. Fire is in the top right, wind at the bottom, and darkness in the top left. I have a feeling most of y'all knew that already, but as someone who hasn't seen the box art in a really long time, I noticed it and was like, oh yo, that's actually kinda cool. Increasing Sonic's top speed, of course, makes the game more fun, and in certain scenarios, it can make the game more funny. Whenever you tap the A button to leap with a skill that increases Sonic's speed, he kind of maintains his ground speed in the air, and I swear the faster he is, the higher he goes. Of course, you don't see any funny results when doing that on a flat surface. However, this is where slopes come in. If you tap 2 at the end of an upward slope, Sonic will get some major air time. Look at this goofiness. That is also goofy, but don't pay attention to that. Sonic soaring like an eagle is much more entertaining. The best place to do this is on the beams of light in Levitated Ruin. If you keep tapping 2, you might get lucky and see something silly. Also, I'm just gonna let this clip play out. Here's another way to make Sonic defy gravity. First, make sure the down cancel skill is selected, then go to Evil Foundry's Beat the Clock mission. Slide into the scooching section, and make sure Sonic gets hit by either the second or third spike ball. Time break before taking damage, then press 2 to negate knockback and regain control. Then, try to use the homing attack on the Fire Genie. Yeah, apparently scooching sections have invisible walls to keep Sonic from falling off when he slides across them. Well, how about that? Oop, I accidentally only wrote down use speed break on the Ifrit Golem boss fight.
Speed break!
Yeah, I guess that's something. While the video is kinda paused, I just want to point out this little thing because I have nowhere else to put it. So after Eraser Jin shoots Sonic with the Flame of Judgment, he and Shara go off to find King Shahryar. The scene ends with this shot, and the still they used for Sonic heavily reminds me of the '06 box art, although the hands more closely resembled this specific promotional art. Some of y'all might call this a stretch, which it might just be. I accidentally pulled something like this in a previous video, but still, both '06 and Secret Rings were developed around the same time, so they might have been making a light nudge to '06. I don't know, I'll let y'all decide if I'm being stupid. In Pirate Storm's Die Hard challenge, we have the option to take one of two paths, some dangerous platforming to the right, or a nice, easy grind rail to the left. The railing is, of course, very long, but it's even longer than it looks. That's because it's being covered by the ground. It roughly starts right where Sonic is standing. Normally, we, the player, are not supposed to know this, let alone access it like this. However, simply jumping, then pressing either 1 or 2 to drop quickly will clip Sonic far enough into the ground to use it. Here it is again in slow motion, in case you wanted to see it better. Secret Rings has some automated sections where Sonic will do little hoppy hops across the stage. Dinosaur Jungle's Get the Pterosaur Egg mission has one of those when we use the homing attack on this spring when piloting the first flying jar. Once we can take control of Sonic again, step backwards, and he will automatically jump super high. Of course, this is because we are triggering the last automated sequence. Yeah, you can do this sort of thing in a couple of places in Dinosaur Jungle. Wait, what? Huh, neat. Secret Rings has something called the pause menu glitch. If you open the pause menu just as Sonic is defeated, he would be in this weird state where you can technically control him through the pause menu, but he can't move from his current position. I've been trying to execute it for like 30 minutes, but the timing is stupidly strict. So here are 2 other people that have successfully pulled it off. I thought it was too cool to let it go unnoticed. Also, the second video, made by DarkspinesSonic, teaches how you can make buku experience from this. Go give them a look. Find yourself a metal cage somewhere. If we jump, then press 1 or 2 while over it, Sonic will bounce off of it like he just hit a trampoline. Here's something better. If you press it at the right time, Sonic will bounce even higher. Here's something even better. If you do it next to this gate in the final mission of Skeleton Dome, Sonic will be stuck falling on top of the gate, and there's not a single thing we can do about it. Pressing 1 or 2 in the air also puts Sonic in this pseudo-free-falling state, and the only way out of this is to pause the game and either restart or quit. The metal cages are really strange in this game, like, you can keep running into them as if you're still running along the path. I don't get it either, but it's something you can do. And the last thing I want to show off is something I did not expect to appear in this game. Skeleton Dome has a special challenge where we have to collect King Solomon's bones. Eventually, we get transported into the arena to chase down a giant bony hand. If it passes one of the gates before we can catch it, it might just laugh at us. Now, although I couldn't find any sources confirming this, I am so dead set on believing that this is the same laugh that is used for the hyena in Lady and the Tramp. I know that sounds ridiculous, but for the people who don't know, that hyena's laugh is one of those stock sound effects that anyone could use, so it's appeared in other forms of media, most notably in Elf during the Jack-in-the-Box scene, and of course, it was Ripperoo's voice for the Crash Bandicoot games on the PS1. I'm just surprised that it shows up in a Sonic game of all places. That's like hearing the Wilhelm scream in one of these cutscenes.
Hey!
Alright, I'm gonna do one of those Pokemon challenges next, unless I can think of something for Sonic X Shadow Generations. I'm not sure if I'll do a good job with a review, and I can guarantee people are going to make challenge videos before me because I take like 5 years to upload anything. But we'll see. Thank you all again for watching the whole way through. You know, it lets me know that I'm making a good video. Hope you enjoyed it, and hope the rest of your week is going well. And now, the Patreon supporters, brought to you by Maud. Lots of spaghetti and page fighting Master Sodaru, Fossil and Triff, Gianna, Tim Got Sunset Pili, and Tabitha Harvey Youssef. There's Augustus Renier, Stop Motion Stylish, Soma and Delta RT, plus Kyle Prado, Elijah Boneham, and Sonic Meerkat, and me.